And Bonds hits one high. Hits it deep. It is out of here. This is caught. Diggs. Sideline. Touchdown. Unbelievable. Bryant for the win. Bang. Watch out. He's got getting away from the top speed.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another SGN video where it's all similar time. And today I'm bringing you another video. I did this last year. This is how you can save NBA 2K24. Now, Pro Play has been amazing for the game. I really hope they build upon it. But in the 5-on-5 gameplay aspect of the world where you're playing mynba and franchise, there are still many things that need to be done to make this game play up to its potential, and we have cracked the code just as we did last year. We cracked the code, and I'm going to show you guys whether you want to use my gameplay sliders or not, whether you want to use my NBA sliders and settings or not. Whatever you do, these are the edits and the things you need to do to make 2K24 playable, and you're going to want to use these with any slider set that you choose to grab out there. Hopefully you guys choose mine. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. You're first going to go in and you're just going to set up a mynba, and we're just going to go right in, and I'm just going to make a new one for this purpose of demonstration. And of course, this is for the modern era. I do not know or have not tested this for any of the other eras, but I don't think it would hurt. So right now, we'll just say do it for every single era that you're in. And right now, none of this matters for what I'm showing you. So we're just going to pick a team. None of the setup options matter, because everything that matters as far as how to make sure that you get 2K24 playing up to its potential, it's all going to be in the edits of the roster, and they're global edits that you guys are going to do. And I'm going to go through and demonstrate every single thing that you guys need to do for these global edits. And then honestly, it's super easy to maintain from year 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. And I'll show you guys how to do that too. It takes about 10 minutes in your off season, but it's going to keep the great gameplay balance so that things don't start off great in year 1 and continue to get worse from year to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 and 6 and so on and so on and so on. So right now we are going to get started, and we're just going to go and hit quick edit here right on the main player screen, and we're just going to scroll all the way over. And the first thing we're going to do is go to the intangible slider. Now, if you are new to my channel, I'm going to let you guys know the intangible rating is literally something that 2K uses to get a player's rating where they want them to. They put in the ratings for everybody, and if they don't like where it's at, then they jack it up, because there's no reason that some of these guys would be at 98 intangible and Luke is only at a 79. And you can go through this here too. John Morant's only a 75. Donovan Mitchell's only a 70. Kyrie's only a 70, right? It doesn't make sense. You'll have like 1 or 2 year guys, like Jalen Brunson has a higher intangible than, like we just said, John Morant or Luka Doncic for that matter. This is literally just, and Tyrese Halliburton was an all-star last year, he's only got a 60. Again, the intangible is literally just their little quick tool that adjusts the player's rating. And in fact, when you go from a 99 to a 25, it's a difference of 5 overall points. So this is a really easy way that 2K can do in-season attribute updates without actually having to really do anything to the attributes. Now, of course, they can't do this for all players, as you know, you saw Jokic and Curry and Embiid were already very, very high. So they can't do that for those guys. But typically, because those guys are already rated 97s and 98s overalls, they're not really going to see much of a bump. It's mostly going to be the guys that are in the 70s or 80s where that's more easy for them to do. So what you're going to do, and you're going to want to do this every single offseason, is you're going to drop every single player's intangible to 25. This is going to be their true rating. But as soon as you do that, you need to confirm the changes, okay? And then you have to back out. And the reason why is when you first go into the roster, players are sorted based on their overall from highest to lowest. And because the intangible affects that, when you go and change their intangible rating, it doesn't reorder them based on their overall. So you'll have a guy who's like a 92 rated lower than guys like an 89 or something like that based on how the overall the intangible are. So you want to back out and go back in there because now it's going to be in the proper order of highest rated to lowest rated. Again, just as a reminder for you, you want to do this every single season. Then what you're going to do is you're going to go back into the top 10 highest rated players and you're going to bump them back up to a 99 overall. Or excuse me, a 99 intangible. Excuse me. So we're going to get those overalls back up where they were for the top 10 players in the NBA. And again, this just takes a quick second. We're going to go ahead and flash forward until I finish doing all 10 players. All right, so we have finished doing our top 10 players, and we have them back up to a 99 intangible. So you can see Jokic is a 98, LeBron 97, Doncic 97, Durant 96, Curry 97. And you can see because of the intangible changes, Durant was higher than Curry on the list, but after we changed Curry's intangible, he's now rated higher than Durant, which is why I tell you guys it's important to back out after the intangible ratings if you want these guys to be in order. Anyway, so once you do the top 10 to 99, you are going to then do the next 5 highest rated players, and you're going to pump them up to a 75 intangible. So we're going to go ahead and do that real quick, and in a flash, boom, we got them done in a flash. This is going to be your next 5 are going to be at 75 overall. Then we're going to do the following 15 highest rated guys are going to go to a 50 overall. And you might be asking yourself, Chris, why are you doing these intangible ratings? Well, there's a couple reasons. Number one, we want to spread out the ratings, guys. There is 128 players in the 2K default roster that are rated 80 overall or better. Okay, 30 teams, 5 starters per team. That's 150 players. 128 of the 150, according to 2K, are 80 overall or better. When you think about the range of the overall in this game, that is way too high. So you have crazy roster inflation, which makes building your franchise team and doing things like that way too easy and not as fun as challenging. Also, no teams end up being bad. They all end up being good as you go through several years in your mynba. So this is just going to spread out the rosters a little bit and help you get that that better disparity in your overall. Second, this is really going to help for contracts, and you're going to have a better separation of contracts, and it's going to allow the cap situation to be handled much better than it would be otherwise. Okay, so we have our 15 players rated 50 at the intangible rating. Now, that means we have edited 30 players. The top 30 players got this edit. I want you guys to remember that number. That's important. You are going to do this intangible edit after every offseason. You're going to go in the next season before you play any games. You're going to go to the roster like we just did here. Drop everyone down to 25. Back out to the players, resort by their overall, go back in and redo it. This is where you're going to see a change in how the top 30 players look from year to year to year, and you're also going to keep that roster balance. All right, so the next thing we are going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and edit the tendencies. We're going to do some global tendency edits, and I like to scroll all the way to the right and work my way to the left. And the first one I want to talk about, we're going to kind of go a little bit out of order here, but the first one that I want to talk about, which is very important, is going to be the play discipline tendency. As you can see out of the box, 2K default has pretty much everyone at 25 with some of the higher rated players at 65. Unfortunately, this is not how we want it to be. So we're going to go ahead and edit the whole entire column, and we're going to bring everybody down all the way to 0. And all right, we're going to just keep going in case people were higher. I'm going to give it another couple seconds of just going. Typically, the higher rated players have the lower player discipline, and the lower should be higher. So we're just going to make sure that we get this correct, as 2K really messed up player discipline this year, and we went ahead and did a fix to create better gameplay from the stars as opposed to the non-stars. So now what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and globally raise every single player's discipline to 60. So we're going to do that real quick. Boom, 60. Now, remember, we just edited the top 30 players in the NBA. With the intangible wording, we're going to do the top 30 for play discipline. So what we're going to do now is we're going to drop this play discipline down to 40 for these top 30 players. The reason why is the 60 discipline is going to keep the lower rated players playing more to the game plan and not going kind of off on their own and freelancing a little bit, whereas we know superstars are more likely to kind of take those shots and do what they want on their own. So we're just going to go through and help that happen in 2K, as out of the box it was just set up completely horrible and awful for this to happen. So you're going to get much better variety from your superstars compared to the non-superstars of the league. So let's go ahead and just knock out all 30 of these. All right, so we have got our top 30 players, play discipline at 40. Everybody else is at 60. Again, you're going to want to reset this after every single offseason with the addition of your rookies, as well as just the top players changing throughout the course of year 1 and year 2 and year 3. So once we have the play discipline change, now we're going to go back over to the right here, and we are just going to go through and we're going to do some global tendency edits. And what we're going to do is we're going to start at contest shot tendency, which is fine. Block shots, fine. Steal, on-ball steal tendency. This is one we're going to raise. We're going to do a plus 10 because we're trying to get more turnovers in the game. And when you go with the pass interception tendency, this is already pretty decent for a lot of the players, but we're still going to go ahead and do a plus 10. And the players that are already at a 99, it's not a big deal. I mean, you can't really do anything. So we're just going to go up to a plus 10 here. Hard foul frequency, we do want to see some more hard fouls. So we don't get a lot of them in 2K, so we're going to do a plus 20 on hard fouls. And the foul tendency in general, we're going to give a plus 10 to. Take charge. Hardly see any charges in 2K. That's why. Look at why. Look at why. Even when you have the slider jacked up, look at why we're not getting the top players. Nobody wants to take charges. So we're going to go do a plus 20 to take charges. Now, here's the big one. This is what's going to help you when you're playing against a CPU. It's going to feel like you're playing against a user. We're going to help them utilize more of the post moves available. So the post up and under tendency is higher for Jokic and Embiid, but still not that high. We're going to go ahead and do a plus 10 to this. This will help more players utilize more post moves. We're going to do post step back shot tendency. We're going to go plus 10 here as well. Post hop shot tendency. You don't see a lot of post hop shots from players, and this is why. So we're going to go plus 20. Shimmy. Joel Embiid is the only one who really has a higher shimmy, but we're going to go plus 10 just to see some more shimmy moves from other players. Post fades. This one, I don't like touching the fades, so we're going to leave post fades already how they are, as well as the post hook to the right. This is the hook shots. I'm really okay with how they are. I'm more looking for the moves, so we're going to leave the hook shots how they are. The shoot from post tendency, we definitely want to increase that as well. I mean, you got a guy like Jokic is only an 80 and Embiid's only a 60, so we're going to do a plus 10 globally to the shoot from post, and we're going to do a post top tendency. We're going to do a plus. Look at this. None of these guys have post, like Tatum posts up, Giannis posts up. Why do they not have a tendency for this? So we're going to do a plus 20 to get some of these guys to utilize more of these moves. And as we continue to scroll over, post drop step tendency, you're telling me Joel Embiid only has a 30 on a post drop step. LeBron's only a 25. I mean, that's not okay. So we're going to do a plus 20 to this right here, and this is just going to bring more moves being utilized from the CPU the same way the user does as well. Post drive tendency, we're going to do a plus 10. Post spin is going to get a plus 10. Post face up is going to get a plus 10. Post back, we're not going to touch the aggressive back down or the back down tendencies. Those are fine. Post up tendency, we're not going to adjust either. We've already done play discipline, so we're not going to touch the isolation versus these aren't what we're looking for as bringing out of the gameplay. what we're more looking for is getting players to utilize their moves that are available in the game. So the transition spot ups and things like that, we don't really care about that. What we are going to go do is scroll through here. We want to find the ones that are more user, something that you'd see from a user. So we're going to get to driving in and out tendency. Look how low this is. So we're going to go ahead and even for like some of the elite ball handlers, it's still not that high. So we're going to do a plus 10 just to get something here, even a little bit more from some people. Driving dribble hesitation. We're gonna leave that. That's honestly pretty good how they have that. The driving the behind the back though is really low, so we're gonna do a plus 20 here. I know Steph Curry's at an 85, but honestly, the fact that if he goes to 100, it's really not that big of a deal because he uses that move all the dang time. So we're gonna go plus 40 on this. Driving step back tendency, we're gonna do a plus 10. Driving half spin is pretty much non-existent, but we're going to do a plus 10 just so it happens a little bit more. Driving spin is going to be a plus 10. Look at this, driving double crossover. Again, a move that we can utilize. Look how it's just non-existent. Lillard, Morant, Mitchell, Booker, Shea Gilgeous, Irving as a 40. Like, nobody uses this move because it's not there. So we're going to do plus 20. Driving crossover tendency. This one's honestly pretty good, so we're going to leave it. No setup dribble tendency is in a good spot. We're going to leave it. Setup with hesitation tendency. We could go a little bit higher if we wanted to. Really, only Steph is very high on this. Everybody else is pretty low. So you can honestly do a plus 10. Setup with size up tendency. We could do a plus 10. Again, we want the CP to play more like how a user does because then it feels more realistic. We're going to do plus 10 here. And as you guys can see, man, there's really no thought put into these tendencies by 2K and their rosters. They're all so damn generic. Triple threat idle tendency. You're telling me LeBron, Steph, and Embiid and Jason Tatum all have the exact same tendencies? I mean, come on. There's just no effort being put into this. That's why we're going to go through and do this for you. We're going to do plus 10 as well. And again, you want to do this to every draft class. Even if you use a 2K automated draft class, just save it, export it, go in and do these edits to all these custom draft classes. But honestly, guys, most custom draft classes, they put a lot more work into these because they're only putting in a couple of players. They don't they're putting in way less players and way less players in the NBA. So they put a lot more work into this, but you can always go in and look at these tendencies and see if you want them up a little bit. But for the most part, you definitely need to do the player discipline, drop it or set it to 60, set intangibles to 25, and we'll continue to talk about what you need to do with draft classes. But we're going to do jab step. We're going to leave jab step. It's pretty fine. Triple threat looks pretty good. Driving right. We're not going to worry about driving because those are all fine. We just want the cool animations. Dunks are fine. Floaters, layups. We want more variety of layups. So we're gonna do a plus 10 here to the floater. We're gonna do a plus 10 to the hop step. We're gonna do a plus 30. No, not 30. Excuse me. Plus 20 to Euro. And spin layup's going to get a plus 10. Step through shot tendency is honestly really good, so we're going to leave where it's at. Use glass tendency, we're going to do a plus 20 just because nobody uses the glass in the way the game is. This will help get a couple more bank shots. Off-screen drive, we are going to go plus 30 to this. So that should get us up to 45. And we're going to do Need to find driving layup. Did I? Driving layup tendency, excuse me. We got to do plus 30 to driving layup tendency. And this is going to be a find from Denny Crane or the sports franchiser who's in the Discord. This is what's going to help get a lot more fouls, is to get players to attack the hoop more. So this is how we're getting more fouls for the CPU, is by having them drive and attack the hoop more. So we have the driving layup, and we have the drive tendency is already very, very solid. So we're going to leave that there. Driving pull-up 3 is good. Drive pull-up mid-range is going to get nerfed. The reason why is guys drive, and they'll have a clear lane to the hoop, and they will stop and pull up and shoot the mid-range. As you can see, look at all this. They won't continue attacking all the way to the hoop. So we're doing a minus 20 on this. We still want them to take mids, but we don't want them to take them instead of continuing to attack all the way to the hoop. Transition, pull up 3 tendency. Look how low it is. Even Curry, who does it all the time, is only a 60. So we're going to do a plus 20 on this. Now we're going to keep going here. Spin jumper tendency. This is going to get a plus 10. Again, we're just trying to get the CPU to look more like the user. Step backs are fine. Step back, those are all fine. Contested jumper 3 tendencies. This is, you're going to want to raise this to help get the CPU to take some more shots when contested, which could lead to some more 3-point or some fouls on the jump shots. We're going to do a plus 20 on this. Contested jumpers mid-range, we're going to do the same thing. So we're not going to go plus 20, we're only going to go plus 10. Now these tendencies, these shooting the 3 tendencies, we are all going to leave them exactly where they're at. The CPU shoots plenty of 3s. But they don't shoot a lot of mid-range. So what we're doing is we're doing a plus 10 for all the mid-ranges. So we're going to go ahead and go 24. That means we're going to go to 34. Right here we're going to go to 25, 31. Just a plus 10 to all these mid-ranges to get more shot variety. Off-screen mid-range tendency is pretty solid, so we're going to leave it. Those are all looking pretty good. Just a mid-range shot tendency is going to get a plus 20 here. As we go through here, these are just shot types. There's really not much else over here that we're looking at. Shot close, shot under basket. So there's our tendencies for how we want to get players to play more like users. Now we're going to go over here and we're going to do the global badge edits. There are 3 badge edits that we are doing globally this year. Last year we reduced everybody to the same 13 badges, and we had the tiers of the badges separating them. Cannot do that this year due to pro play. It messes too much up with the gameplay. We have to keep the badges, which is perfectly fine. We got the game playing the best it's ever played. But what we are doing some global badge edits for 3 badges, and we're going to go ahead and explain here. The first one we're going to go ahead and get to, as we are in alphabetical order here, is the whistle badge. We are going to go ahead and do a plus 1. That way we make sure that every single person here who doesn't have it is going to be at least bronze, and we're going to keep that distinguishment, like LeBron, Luka will be Hall of Fame. This is going to create more players drawing fouls, which helps with free throws for the CPU. We are also going to do a global badge edit for the enforcer. We're just going to do a plus 1 here. This was also a find from Denny Crane, the sports franchiser. You're going to want to check him out on YouTube. He's in the Discord. He helps out a lot, and you're going to want to check out his content. He drops a ton of stuff. And the one I almost forgot is we're going to do interceptor, because we want to have more passes intercepted by your players as well as CPU to create more turnovers. So everyone just gets a plus on interceptor badge. Now, we will talk about how to maintain this when you go from year 1 to year 2. But right now, when you set up your franchise, these are the edits that you're going to want to do for every single player with the roster, and you're just going to back out.